How many years?
I think about
Four?
4 years.
About
Yeah,
4
since
years.
I moved here.
When was the first time I seen you or met you?
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Is that we
remember.
just became friends
Yeah.
off of osmosis, and then that's it.
It's not good.
Even though we're trying to, we'll give them a type of experience that they'll never forget when they pay all this money.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fine line when it comes to this shit. There is education that needs to be relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The relationships that you have to build between you and the owner of the yacht.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard about that either. So like when she told me that, I was like, no, that's a lie. And then she's like, no, like this person like really said that. Now that kind of brings me into like a space of like, not misogynistic because that's not really the right word, but sexist and
like the types of yachts, you know.
because not all yachts are created equal.
No, they are not. There's the little, 50-footers or 45 sometimes, and then there's the big boys that are the 150 Westports, you know.
For those like you can really feel it.
Oh
like,
my God, you get so seasick. If you've never been on a boat before and you go through that, you'll be miserable. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. One time, one of my girlfriends and I, we went to, we were on the way to Bimini, and it was super like easy cruise for maybe the first 30 minutes, and then into the next hour, she just got so seasick, was crying, bawling, like, oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really consider like that.
Yeah.
The way, but it's tough to take, right? For you to like not get seasick,
yeah.
right?
You can take Dramamine. You usually have to take that, about 30 minutes.
Do you guys have that on deck just in case?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
okay,
we
perfect.
have to.
All right, sounds good. Just in case if I get, because I'm not necessarily. So I'll tell you this, like I love yachts, but sometimes like I get like very nervous about yachts because it's like you're in the middle of the freaking ocean, and it's like the only thing that's like holding you above.
I know, and especially in Miami, it's like people will go out and party on a Friday night and come home at 5, 6 in the morning, and then jump on a yacht at noon, and then they wonder why they're absolutely miserable, throwing up overboard.
No, facts. Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, Jaden, we're good. We're good. All right. Mike. Welcome everybody to another edition of Convos with Bishop. My name is Marvel Bishop, as you guys know, Mr. Know What Up, the Master of Delegations, the Ace of All Trade, the Walking Icebreaker. I know it's a lot. It's something. It's things I gotta do. I gotta let them know like my AKAs. You know what I'm saying? AKA, no more AKAs. I'm here in the beautiful Miami Beach Arena on this beautiful, beautiful yacht.
85
footer. Yeah, please tell me what it is.
This is an 85-foot Princess Yacht. Princess yachts are usually from England. That's where they originated.
Really? Okay.
But this one got shipped over here in about 2017.
Nice. So today, you kind of ruined the surprise because I was about to introduce you, but it's fine. I had no like an but it's fine. It's all good. I am here with a person that I've actually known through the industry of hospitality for a very long time. How many years?
I think about 4 years.
About 4
since
years.
I moved here.
Yeah. When was the first time when was the first time I seen you or met you?
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Is that we just became friends off of osmosis, and then that's it.
Like, it's because we just liked each other's vibe, and we're like, oh, okay. Like,
definitely sweetheart, definitely person, hard-working woman in the industry as well too, Miss Kaile Justine.
Thank you.
How are you?
Much.
How you feeling?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day.
Yes.
Miami, there's so much to be grateful for.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
I appreciate having this yacht be be for this conversation.
Yeah.
It's actually the first of the Convos with Bishop that we're actually doing this on a yacht. Honestly.
Oh, this is the first
We
one?
only do interviews on land, okay?
Oh,
but for
really?
you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about the yacht
God.
industry and everything else too.
Awesome.
We have to oblige, Yes.
So
as I always do, I always would like to start with the beginnings and the journey of pretty much the person who I'm speaking to, and to get to know a little bit about you before you being in the yachting industry and you pretty much, killing it in this space. So please.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Arizona,
Okay.
Scottsdale. So I grew up there with my mother and my grandma, and those are the two women that raised me. So they raised me to be, a really big go-getter, and just kind of whatever you dream about doing, you just go and do it, Don't take no for an answer, and just keep trying until everything, pans out the way that you envisioned it to be. So I moved here about 4 years ago, and the way that I moved here is I actually quit my job, wasn't happy with it. Just started interviewing at a bunch of different places all across the country, just wanting to get, out of Arizona where it's already grown too small for me. I just dreamed for something bigger. And then, eventually after having 5 interviews, 6 interviews, 7 interviews, I finally landed a job out here.
Good.
And then, just packed my 3 suitcases and just left. So, and ever since then, doing that, it's enveloped me into, just always wanting to take risks and, jumping into industry that I'm not very familiar with, going into the unknown with, just moving cross country, not really knowing a single person over here in Miami, except for maybe one acquaintance.
How was that? Like, was that nerve-wracking for you?
It was nerve-wracking, definitely. I mean, there was a couple times where I was looking for apartments and I kept getting no's with that just because, how Miami is like so
small.
Yeah. Everyone, there's once you throw in an offer and offer gets accepted and then you're like, wait, I have the money ready, So there was a lot of ups and downs, but I feel like I'm super grateful for those to have happened because it just taught me to be strong and, to never give up. And so, yeah, and then, the way that I got into that, so I've always been in nightlife since I was 19. So, doing the nightlife and moving out here, I got a job at a bar, and that's kind of what, made me get all these different connections and ultimately lead me into the yachting world because the bar that I used to work at was Fontainebleau, the Blue Bar. So every day when I would walk to work, I would always see those yachts just lined up and always just envisioning myself and getting into that industry and learning about the industry, even though I didn't know which yacht was from which, which one is which.
Okay.
So like the types of yachts,
Because not all yachts are created equal.
No, they are not. There's the little, 50-footers or 45 sometimes, and then there's the big boys that are the 150 Westports, so. Even
when it's like actually built like in certain areas in the world.
Yeah.
Like some built in France, like Monaco, some places are built in, some yachts are built in Italy, right?
Yeah. My favorite yacht that's ever been built is San Lorenzo.
Okay.
And they're built in Italy.
Nice.
So San Lorenzos are beautiful. They just bring power to the water and just kind of say like I'm here,
So do you consider yourself a mermaid?
I do. Yeah.
I had that feeling.
There's actually a picture on my Instagram. It's of me with a little mermaid tail. So yeah, I am a mermaid. I love the water. It brings me peace and happiness. And I've realized also when I'm on the water with other people, it's like every care in the world that they had before they stepped on board is just gone. It's a way to just release any tension, and you kind of feel whatever you were harboring beforehand, stress, you feel instantly better after, you get off the water, and I feel like you're more clear-headed, and it's just a beautiful thing.
It's kind of an experience where like you're stepping into a world while still being in the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you become like the center of the world because, the ocean is like one of the 9th wonders of the world, and that's like really beautiful. And I'm not particularly a person who likes to go on yachts too much because like I told you before, like I'm very, very scared, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely with, the clients that I have, and I have to, host them and everything else too.
Yeah.
I've definitely gone over that fear. So there's definitely like a lot of great things in the yachting industry that definitely is presented. What opportunities has definitely been presented to you with the yachting industry?
Just meeting so many different people, just people, owners that, I'm able to learn from. Just about what they do in their business and everything like that. It's just, each person that you meet, even guests, you take something from each of them, everyone. And what I always say is like anyone you come across contact with, you're able to learn something from them because you aren't walking in their shoes every day, you aren't. So they have different experiences that you've never even dealt with. So that's what I love about the industry is that you just get to meet all these amazing people, and that's the opportunities are honestly endless because you're constantly learning. through anything, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I believe that one of the common denominators when it comes to, I mean, obviously just hospitality, but especially in the yachting industry, is relationships.
Yes.
And one of the sides that I feel like is not necessarily, few of the sides is not necessarily talked about, what I want to get into now is the relationships that you have to build between you and the owner of the yachts. As a person who is not as rich to friggin' get a yacht yet, but I will be getting a yacht pretty soon. If I have, like, let's just say a 12 or 15 or $20 million yacht, and obviously, like, I love the aesthetics, I love the feeling that it makes me have, me being able to, like, travel all throughout the low-key world with the yacht, but there's not too much I know when it comes to, like, the ins and outs, basically. Like, you have to, like, get other people to know the the skill sets, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the knowledge of yachts.
Yeah.
So with you, because I feel like you definitely know yachts inside and out, how do you present yourself in order to establish those relationships with the owners to get them to trust you?
Yeah. I usually because I know what my value is and I know the type of clientele that I'm able to, you know, offer them, and I'm able to give them an experience that's seamless, from, you know, getting payment, from getting contracts signed, from getting, you know, catering delivered to their boat, to getting, you know, sometimes the crew if they don't have the right crew. So it's really makes it easy for them just to, you know, trust that I'm gonna have everything handled and that they won't, you know, be getting headaches with phone calls and all of that, you know.
Because we are the person at the end of the day, we're the middlemen and the middlewoman.
Yeah, you know,
to make sure they don't get any headaches whatsoever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we represent, you know, the client, and then we also represent the owner. So you have to be very careful if, you know, say like your client's upset with, you know, something breaking on the boat, like, you know, that you do relay that over to the owner, and, you know, just make them understand where the client
the client who rents the yacht.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Versus the owner who owns the yacht.
Yes, but
Okay.
you know, if you know something is broken on board before the client even steps in, then that's when, you know, we can issue some refunds, or, you know, just do what we can and make the client happy to, you know, generate repeat business.
Yes.
But, you know, say if like the client had broken something of the owners, then that's a whole different story, and we would have to go back and.
So,
you know.
okay, so maybe this, you know, part of my ignorance, but like I've been on yachts plenty of times, and I guess like, and I've definitely brokered yachts before on many occasions, and I've never had a problem with like maintenance or anything breaking.
Yeah.
So what can break? Like that might be a stupid question, but like I mean I don't know.
I mean, I've seen like I've heard of like tables breaking, and like, you know, it's just things like
decor,
that where,
like stuff like that.
Where a client isn't respectful to the boat, and they're jumping on, you know, tables and just, you know, kind of being rude, as if it's obnoxious. Yeah. So I've heard stories of that. So, you know, that's definitely happened, and then also, you know, the owner has to kind of try to get their money back.
Either money back or
just a deposit, you know. So
something.
I know certain owners do deposits on the day, depending on.
On top of how much they had to pay for the yacht.
Yeah, so they'll do a deposit just in case.
Just in case something breaks, and then they'll be able to pretty much do that. Yeah. So before we get into the whole client base, because, you know, we had a little pre-conversation before the conversation. How is the dynamic between balancing both of the relationships between the client and the owner of the yacht? You know, like who takes precedence? Or is that a tough question?
That's really tough. Honestly, in my sense, it's like it's 50-50.
Okay.
Just because I can't overpower, you know, the client to the owner, because the owner is the one who's allowing, you know, us to do business with them, and then also the client is allowing us to do business with them. The client could choose anyone in Miami and, you know, have somewhat of the same, you know, deal going on. Yeah. But, you know, the owner, it's like you want to keep bringing the business to the owner, and it's just they're 50-50 because, you know, the client won't bring you, if the client has a terrible time and, you know, you completely messed up everything for their wonderful day on the water, then, you know, they're not only going to just completely exit you out of their, you know, contact list for the next time, they're going to tell at least like 5, 10, post on Instagram, you know, that this person is a bad broker and just completely messed up everything. So you have to be careful, and you have to honestly make sure that the client has a little bit more leverage than the owner, just because they are able to really spread the word, and it could potentially affect your business really badly.
And I do believe that owners do understand that type of dynamic, because if like it's a business at the end of the day,
exactly,
you know, the customer is a customer.
Yeah, and then also, and it's like, you know, if a boat is, you know, not maintenance right, like the floors look like crap, the wood's, you know, chipped off, like their responsibility as an owner is to keep the upkeep, to, you know, make the boat more what's the word I'm looking for?
More presentable,
more you know, like just, what's the word? I'm like looking for a specific word and I'm forgetting.
It's all good.
More appealing to, you know, the potential client. So, you know, if a client walks into a boat and it's nothing that looks like the pictures that the broker sent to them, then that's a problem. That's also a problem on the broker's end, just because, you know, the broker should routinely keep going around and checking the boats.
Gotta do your due diligence.
You have to do your due diligence. I mean, I would never put my clients on a boat that I think is gonna, you know, break down or that, you know, doesn't look like their pictures. Absolutely not, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're paying for an experience, and, you know, this experience could be a once in a lifetime deal for them, and, you know, if you don't, you know, bring that to them, then it's just, it's not good.
Even though we're trying to give them, or we will give them, a type of experience that they'll never forget when they pay all this money, there's a fine line when it comes to this shit.
Yeah.
You know, there is education that needs to be implemented, I feel like, to the clients, to understand that, listen, I understand you paid us $4 or $5K, but this is not your fucking yacht.
Yeah.
No, for real. Because I would imagine that you have some clients, and this is, and I'm not trying to put anybody in a bad spot. I'm not trying to throw anybody. This is a real conversation. Yeah. Like, there's clients out there that literally think like this shit don't freaking stink, and just because they give us money to pretty much take the yacht, like, yes, you're renting the yacht. You're not owning a yacht for, like, you know, for 4 hours.
Exactly.
You're renting it.
And, you know, I've actually heard of stories with it's never happened with any crew that I know, but just stories where there has been, you know, a client on board, and where they just have gotten like really aggressive with the crew, and you know, probably for telling them to like not smoke weed or any of that sense, because like that's completely not allowed.
I've had that before. Yeah.
So, you know, the crew or the client gets really aggressive, and then, you know, you turn around the charter, and then you know, you have to call the police because it gets too out of hand. You know, that's one thing that the Coast Guard just does not allow, and you know, it's not right. You know, you're messing up the fun for everyone.
Let's talk about real quick, since we're already here, the Coast Guard and the marine laws and like, you know, the regulations. Like, what are some of the like regulations that a lot of clients, or maybe even yacht owners, do not really know to be able to better suit them?
So with the whole, so for charters, it has to be 13 people max on there. You know, I know there's some boats that go out for charter that like are 100 foot, 150 even. And no matter what, if the owner's not on board, they're not allowed to have more than 13 people via charter. A charter states that, you know, money was traded for the boat and that it was a hire from the client. The clients choose a captain and crew, so the clients pay the captain and crew. So that's the real big, you know, legalities of it. And, you know, if you don't have that said and done, like, either the crew can go to jail, the owner can get fined, the captain. And
we're not talking about like cheap ass. We're talking like
thousands and thousands.
Like, how much we're talking? 10?
I would say a little bit more, 10.
15?
I don't know the exact number.
But it's
it might
upwards.
change. Yeah, it's upwards.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, in Miami, especially because in Miami, there's so many charters that don't go through the correct licensing. So, you know, the U.S. Coast Guard really cracks down on that, and they want to make sure that everyone has everything up to date, their paperwork. And I know what I recently heard is that owners who have jet skis on board, they're not able to rent those jet skis out to their clients that charter the boat. You know, usually like when you say, see like, oh, this boat has a jet ski, like you can take it for the day.
That's illegal.
They actually took that off.
Really?
Yeah, they just recently, because of all the jet ski accidents that have been killing people, you know, and the people don't have the correct insurance.
We had a recent incident, right?
Yeah,
like somebody died, right?
Yeah, someone died just riding around jet skis. But yeah, I mean, it's scary. So it's like so the owners take so much, you know, liability having, you know, their boat out for charters. So
yeah.
And, you know, that's just another added thing is if they have that jet ski, it's supposed to be only for them.
Yeah.
So if the clients do want a jet ski, then they have to outsource and use a jet ski company that comes to them.
Yeah, it's I mean, at the end of the day, it's bigger than what people really anticipate.
Yeah.
It's not just like
there's a lot of logistics.
It's not hopping on the boat and that's it. Like, no, man.
See,
like, hey, you can low key die.
Oh
Go ahead. Please talk about.
Oh
please.
my goodness.
This is why we're here, Kaile. This is why we're here.
So
please talk your piece.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I mean, I love like all my clients, right? I will like try to go jump over moon and stars for my clients. But, you know, when they call me like 2 hours before when they want to leave on a boat, I'm like, I can't. I'm like, believe me, if I could just, you know, make waters, you know, part, I would do it.
I really don't think these motherfuckers understand, and I'm cussing because this is my fucking show. I don't believe these motherfuckers really understand, like, logistically how much of a nightmare that is.
It is. It's a
2
lot.
hours before the dock, like, hello, I gotta get like crew, I gotta get the mate, I gotta make. First of all, I gotta make sure that the yacht is available first. Exactly. That's number one. Gotta make sure it's not on the either maintenance or it's on the water.
I need to make sure it's ready.
You gotta make sure that the captain is ready as well too. Like
yeah.
These people are not just waiting like in their house like. Okay, so, you know, like, you know, from a moment's notice, like, let's get on this yacht. No, man, like, they have lives too.
Exactly. You know, it's happened so many times, and I'm just like, okay, a week in advance is your best bet, you know, if you want.
The shortest notice, though, that you can pretty much work with without, like, having, like, a nightmare. Like, what is your...
I would say...
What's your max?
I would say about 2 days.
2 days.
I can
Got
make
it.
something happen.
Cool.
If it's not, I mean, 2 days sometimes if it's not like a weekend. So say if they're like requesting something on Thursday, but they want a Saturday, that's tough in Miami because everything gets chartered out.
Here's another thing too I kind of want to talk about, and this is something I actually experienced with you and I've learned from you, is that whenever you want to deal with like a yacht broker, that when you want to like, you know, rent a yacht for your clients, like please have all your information ready to go. Like I feel like one time I low key it annoyed you one time.
No.
I think I did, because I remember one time like I didn't have like as much information as I wanted to, and like it just didn't happen. Like you didn't answer, maybe because you were busy. It was what it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But like that's pretty much got me as like a host to like logistics wise to always make sure I have all the information ready, because you know, okay, so what day you want to do it at? Oh, okay, I don't know. Sometime on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I'm getting. Like, come on. You're like, okay, no, I want to do it Friday. All right, how many people? Man, I don't know, man. Probably like around 15. Well, you can't have 15, man. You can have 13. Okay, cool. How many hours? I don't know. Sometime in the afternoon. It's like, dog, I want to choke you. Like, no. So it's very important to.
I know. But also that also goes with, you know, people who might not be that experienced as to how everything works. So that's you know, your job as a broker to educate them. And you know, if they're like, oh, 15 people, just be like, oh, sorry, Coast Guard regulations only allowed 13. You know, that's just how it goes in Miami. But then you can always try to get them on a, you know, 2 boats. 2 is better than 1, and then, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, here's one thing I want to talk about. So, in this industry, and nightlife and hospitality and yachting, you know, it's predominantly a male-dominated industry. To me, I take you as a very strong woman,
Thank
not
you.
to be fucked with. But you do have this sweet and feminine side as well too.
Yeah.
So I already know this answer to this question, but I really want to know, have you had any like struggles like with being a woman in this industry as far as respect, as far as being taken seriously? Has there been any like trials and tribulations? Or no? If not, then no, but
I think there has been, just because I feel like if someone's, trying to word this right.
go ahead, take your time.
So I personally don't really go out that often. Like I'm not in the nightlife and all that, you know. So I feel like me as myself, I get a lot of my clients from word of mouth, you know, Instagram, just that source. But I feel like, you know, people may know of me on Instagram, but they might have another friend that they're like out partying with, brokering, you know, that they're just out all up in the business all the time. And, you know, they've asked me some questions about certain boats and stuff, but they've never booked with me because I'm not in that like lifestyle that they're in, you know, just always out in the scene.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one thing, just because I'm a female as well, so they don't really feel like they want to, you know, give me the funds to make it happen. You know, I don't know, maybe it's an ego thing, you never know. But, and honestly, I mean, besides that, I really haven't had any issues. Maybe just with, honestly, yeah, no.
Okay, so what advice would you give someone who is a female too that wants to get in this industry? So the reason why I'm asking is because I actually know like women in the industry that have had transgressions before.
Really? Like
yes.
how so?
Like just low key like being disrespected and not being taken seriously because they're a woman.
Really?
Compared to like, you know, like they would have to like go through like loops and holes as far as like either like securing the deal, whatever, but then like they would have to get a man involved to be able to do it.
Really?
I've seen it before.
Wow. Yeah. That's not
so I'll give you examples. So like for instance, one time I had a friend that she's in the industry. I'm not gonna name her name. She had this one client, whatever, that was gonna like spend like really big bucks, but like it was just like this really like sexist undertone that she was experiencing from like the potential client, and she really wanted to get this deal done. So she got me involved. As soon as she got me involved, 1, 2, 3, done.
Really? Oh my gosh.
So I mean, it's a conversation that needs to be had, honestly, because it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're blue, black, woman, man, whatever the hell you are. Business is business at the end of the day.
Exactly. And, you know, and I myself believe that women are more detail orientated, and they, you know, they are very much more emotional. So like it's like, you know, if they go you know, jumping hoops for clients, it's because they have some emotional connection to, you know, want to make their day the most greatest that it can possibly be.
And I do
So I feel like, I mean, that's where I come from.
Well, here's the thing that I do agree, because you know what? Because then like just based off of that, I don't see that as a detriment. I see it as a superpower, because like with that, like, you know, like that angle, you guys see things that I don't.
Exactly.
You know? Like, so, like, I do work with a few women in the industry, and it's like they just, I don't know, I guess for us sometimes, like, we're just so, like, the money and, like, you know, the conqueror and this and that, and it's like, you know, sometimes being too logical can be a downfall. It can be, because sometimes you don't really see the whole entire picture, you know? So, just wanted to pretty much say
And of course, sometimes you'll get those, you know, people who, you know, look at you not in a professional way because they have ulterior motives.
Yes,
and you kind of have to learn how to deflect that and, you know, bring it back to the seriousness of the business and, you know, professionalism, and not, you know, go out of your way and not presenting yourself in a other light that they wouldn't respect you in.
Yeah,
so.
I wonder if she's gonna get mad if I say this story. I'm not gonna say her name, but there is a very successful person that I have, a really good friend of mine, that is a like a captain mate that like is that the word? Is that the term where she ropes the yacht and she does everything. So one time, she was taking care of a couple people, and everything was good, and she killed it and everything. And then one of the mates came and said that, hey, listen, so after you're done, said something to the effect of like, oh, are you gonna like wax a cabin's roof or some shit like that? Like, am I saying that term right? Have you ever heard of that term?
No.
Yeah, which it means go below and, you know what I'm saying, like take care of the freaking captain.
Oh, wow, I've never heard of that.
I never heard about that either. So like when she told me that, I was like, no, that's a lie. And then she's like, no, like this person like really said that. So like now that kind of brings me into like a space of like what kind of like sexual undertones or like, not misogynistic because that's not really the right word, but sexist and damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like inappropriate language that's like really used from like man to woman like in this space.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've all dealt with it, but I feel like, me, myself, I'm able to divert that, and even if I feel that they're getting close to that, I kind of just reroute them,
No, definitely.
And that's just how you have to do it because, there's always going to be people who think it's funny for that joke, so just be like, haha, okay, now like let's get down to business.
But sometimes it's not haha, sometimes you really gotta check a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like you just let it go, or like you protect yourself? Because she was also telling me too, like if I really wanted to react the way I did, I probably would never be able to work with that person ever again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that's not cool. That's not fair.
Yeah, of course. I feel like in that sense, just working so closely with Captain and Stu and me, I feel like it needs to be said just because you don't want to have the clients overhearing what is going on with the crew because the clients could easily be offended as to what is going on with the crew, and that's not fair to them. Like there was this one time that not any of my clients, but another boat, I guess there was altercations between the captain and the mate, and
they fought, like the crew fought.
The captain and the mate were just like bickering.
Okay.
And I guess the client told the stew about, hey, like what's going on with these people, or what's going on with the crew, and it was just so blatant out in the open that that's not cool because, you have to make sure that the client is getting the best experience they could possibly have because that's what they pay for.
Yes.
So it was really, really, really bad.
Yeah, no, I got you. So one of the, I guess like topics of conversation when it comes to yachting is the art of integrity, the art of professionalism. The yacht industry in Miami, at least, has become a place of a lot of people getting burnt, a lot of people running out on bills, deposits and everything else too.
Yeah.
And I believe like there's this mini I guess war between like the client and the owner when it comes to making sure that everybody gets paid, but then also too on the client side to make sure like they're also protected.
Yeah.
So all the brokers that I've dealt with, all of them, they're like, yo, no more MX, no more CCs, none of that. We ain't doing that shit no more. It's like across the board when it comes to the yacht industry. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I do understand that because the yachts and the owners and the brokers, they have to get protected for doing all this work to making sure that everybody gets paid. But if you look at it from the other side is like, yo, okay, I get it, but regardless of the fact that even if I get referred to you by my friend, I don't know you from a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
So why would I just give you a substantial amount of money, not knowing, especially if I'm working with you for the first time, not knowing that this deal is going to go down and I'm going to get my yacht that I rented.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people has gotten burnt.
Yeah, of course. And that's where, every broker should have a contract, sent to the client instantly before they even ask about any money.
Okay.
Just so that, it's stated clear as day what, the owner receives what, you know, you're getting from the client as a deposit. You know, the certain scenarios as to why, you know, a refund would be initiated, as like, you know, weather, hurricanes, like, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, that protects both the owner and the client, just so everything's clear out in the open. And if anything goes south, at least the client will have that to, you know, try to get their money back if it's a bad broker, you know.
Yeah, it goes back to education, and it goes back to pretty much being upfront as well too.
Being upfront, yeah. Because, you know, if you burn this one person, because I've heard horrible stories of, you know, brokers just asking for deposits, and then the boat's not there, it's not shown, like the boat's just
the boat doesn't even exist.
Yeah, the boat doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
so I've heard horror stories. And, you know, in that sense, it's like, yeah, these people might have gotten away with like $2,000-$3,000 for the deposit, but they're losing a potential client that could give them more business through word of mouth, you know, tenfold throughout, you know, the year. Because if you make one client happy, I've always seen that it goes into like a domino effect. You know, they'll keep referring you, they'll keep, you know, sending your Instagram to other people who are interested in going to Miami. You know, it always pays off, and just being truthful and, you know, having your clients back, having the owners back, it will always pay off. And that's how you become successful in this business, and that's how people, you know, trust you to show them a great time. I mean, we're in the industry of hospitality and, you know, experiences. So if you're going to give someone a horrible experience, then you might as well never be in this business ever
That's why
again.
I don't understand. Like, people really need to understand when it comes to this industry, like...
See, that's the thing, is people, they look at the dollar signs, and they think they're very, you know, short term with it. But they don't think about the long term of what's going to help you create your business into something very, very successful.
Yeah, and then also there's other avenues too that you could actually get into because of you treating that client well as well.
Exactly, you know, they like, you never know.
I've actually talked about this before, where, like, you know, I've always told people that, especially like hospitality and also nightlife too, but just hospitality in general, you know, there definitely needs to be like an end goal as far as like what you want to achieve, but also like being able to understand that like there's many different ways on how to make money in this industry. Not just yachting, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, because of yachting, because what you do, you're being introduced to other avenues of wealth.
Yeah,
of course. And also too, like, knowing these people who own these yachts are not the worst people to know.
Yeah, exactly.
To be very honest, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's coming from, it's always, like, when it comes to business, when it comes to hospitality, whatever you do, never pretty much operate from a place of scarcity, but abundance.
Of course, abundance.
Yeah.
And as that topic is, you know, anyone who does help me, like, say, you know, they refer me, anyone, like, I always make sure I give them, like, you know, a little, like, a little treat, you know.
And that's what makes the world go around.
Exactly. And because if you're always thinking, like, oh, no, like, I'm going to be lacking this next month, or that's too much to, you know, hook them up on. Like, you're always going to have that negative connotation of bringing, you know, abundance to you. So that's, I'm the firmest believer in that.
And then, and then everybody wins.
Yeah,
everybody wins when people like operate from a place of scarcity and try to like undercut and try to like, you know, do like, you know, just bad shit. Like, it not only messes them up reputation-wise, but it messes up the whole industry. It messes up the whole yachting industry. Like, it's just one bad apple, then like so many. And I'm not even just the yachting industry, security industry, the hosting industry, concierge, promoting life. Like, it just takes one bad person to completely just diminish the integrity of that said trade. So we not only owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to everybody else in this community to do what's right.
Exactly, 100%.
You know. So this is great. This is actually I'm learning so much. Speaking of education, so I would love to know, because I'm fairly ignorant when it comes to the different yachts, different types of yachts, what kind, where they're from, and everything else too, and what makes them special. So with your expertise, like, you know, let's dive into that. You know, like your top 3 or 4 type of yachts, and like why they're different and everything, and like why clients should get it. You know, like if we can get into that.
So Pershings are from Italy. They're known for their speed, but they're very like sleek and sexy. They are known to break down a lot.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's pretty rough to, you know, get them back going, right?
So once you lose them, you lose them.
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but it's just they're known to break down a lot.
Got it.
Azimuths are the most chartered out
I
in
love
Miami.
azimuths,
Yeah. There's the Azimuth S sedans and the Azimuth flybridges. Those are amazing. Those are nice, like family yachts. I would say you can take one of those to the Bahamas if you'd like. Sunseekers are gorgeous as well. There's a lot of boats that out here. It's like 60 to 80 foot Sunseekers are usually chartered out a lot more than anything else. That Sunseekers are, I think they're from the States. That's the only one that's from the States. And then San Lorenzos obviously are just amazing. San Lorenzos are like your big boy yacht.
Okay.
Like when you want to drop 13 million.
Okay.
Like 10 to 13. Yeah.
Okay. So
those
that's
are
one
the
of
big
the ones.
boys yachts.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And like, what was the last yacht you gave me? That flatbed.
That was the Van Dutch.
Oh my God. Yo. Those clients from Detroit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jeremy, by the way. Loved that.
Oh really? They did?
That yacht is like.
It's badass.
That shit was crazy. And I remember you suggested that. Like, hey, listen, I think you guys are like this. Yo, he loved it.
Really?
Yes, loved it.
He had never been on one before?
He hasn't been on that type of yacht, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The dude's like worth like God knows how much money, but that particular type of yacht, he loved it. So yeah, so that was good.
Yeah, those are nice. Next time, I mean, when hopefully it comes out, you should put them on a Pardo.
Okay, we'll do that.
Pardos are beautiful. There's not that many that are chartered out here, but I can get the plug.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the plug, man. Okay, so what else when it comes to yachts? Are there so when it comes to like the buoyancy, I think it is like the is that the right term? When it comes to balancing and like how they like moving forward, like moving back and forth, I should say, like. Are some yachts better balancing than others? Are some more like rocky, like, or that doesn't apply to anything?
Not necessarily. I mean, it all depends on the weather that you're going through. You know, I know a lot of charters that come out of here from Miami to Bahamas. They won't go to Bimini on a really choppy day, just because if it's like anything from like I think like 4 foot to like 6 foot waves, they just won't go.
Okay.
It's not enjoyable.
Got it.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I would say the smaller the boat, the more choppy it's going to be and the more miserable you're going to be.
But I've seen videos before where like I've seen like yachts like capsize, and I'm like, what the fuck has happened to for a yacht that big to capsize? Like literally you could see the ass like up in there.
Well, I mean, that's also a captain's doing, you know. So,
got you. Probably rolling the dice a little bit too much, huh?
Yeah.
I got you.
You have to be careful. And,
I got you.
And, you know, if it's a good captain, he'll know how to navigate through that.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure.
But then also, too, and then, so another thing I would ask, honestly, is that, especially here in Miami, there's certain avenues or certain routes that captains do want to take, and they don't.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes I don't understand logistics-wise. I'm like, you know, you can just pick me up at Sea Spice. Like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm way over here.
Yeah.
So, like, depending on, I guess, like, the waves or, like, the weather, does that dictate, like, how like, the distance between, like, point A to point B? Like, does that have a factor?
Sometimes, yeah. It also depends on the sea level.
Okay.
Because usually, you know, if it's high tide, that means there's, you know, it's the waves from the ocean is like coming in, and you know you're able to, the draft of the boat, the bottom end of the boat is able to reach around certain areas in the water. So, you know, and you don't want to go into the shallows with, you know, 100-foot yacht if it's so. But this captain's really good at
I see.
at explaining.
Yeah, no, I got you.
No,
but,
he's a really good captain.
But yeah, so a few more questions and then we'll pretty much wrap up.
Yeah.
So without ousting anybody, but I do believe that this can actually give like a lot of education and a lot of insight to clients who do want to book.
Yeah.
Like, what are like the do nots as far as like just overall aesthetic or overall not aesthetic, what I'm looking for, ethics, yacht ethics.
I would say do not go with a broker who asks for the money before they have the contract ready for you.
Okay.
Just to save yourself trouble, you know, especially if it's a broker that you've never worked with before and it's just word of mouth from another person, just make sure you have that signed and everything goes through. I always tell my clients, you know, there's been some times where clients are like, oh, I'll send you the money right now. And I'm like, no, like just hold off on that. Let me put the contract together. So I save my, you know, butt.
Yeah.
He saves his butt.
Builds trust too, that technique. Because
Yeah,
then it's like you're not seeing like as a person who's like money hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you care about more like the relationship and like the experience of what they're gonna have.
Exactly.
Versus like trying to get like a few thousand.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
So just that. Someone who I would say make sure that the person that you are potentially brokering with is always accessible to you. You know, there's been times where even before I was even in the yachting industry, like I had friends who chartered boats and the broker was nowhere to be contacted, and you know, it was just a nightmare. So just make sure that you have a broker who's very accessible, because the day of you going on that charter, you're going to have to be in contact with them throughout the experience.
One small thing that I definitely see like captains and like owners fucking lose their shit is like not taking off your damn shoes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
it's a huge
that's
thing.
an ethic, you know, and not ethic, but that's just like a Jenny, help me out. That's the I guess house rules. There we go. Like house rules, you pretty much you need to follow. Yeah. So anything else or no?
Just choosing a broker that is very upfront with, you know, the whole day, and upfront with, you know, logistics and, you know, how many people, because there's been so many times where I've heard stories of like the broker was like, oh yeah, you can bring however many people on,
Yeah,
and
then
then like the captain's like no, and then like the client is just upset.
Yeah, no,
So,
I got it.
you know, just having someone who is, you know, transparent with the whole process, because you know that's the worst thing. You want the broker to be on your side. You want them to, you know, you want to be able to trust them, that, you know, everything's going to go smoothly, and then, you know, you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And what I've heard, like most brokers, is that they don't go and meet their clients at the boats.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot that they just don't do that, and I just think it's.
If you're making that much money, you can literally take an hour out of your day to just come here to making sure that everything is good.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I don't really, if I was the client, I wouldn't feel comfortable, even if I gave you all the money and then like you're nowhere to be found. Even if everything went smoothly, I'm like, I'll be weirded out. Like, okay, like, did I talk to a real person now? Like, for real, like, definitely. It's like, yeah, I remember one time, whenever first of all, it was one broker that I'm never working with again. I'll tell you who it is after this. Like, he just, like, he said he was coming, and then, like, I was literally in my bed, because I'm thinking he's about to handle it.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh, hey, listen, like, I'm not coming. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not fucking coming? Like, I'm in bed right now. Like, I'm like, I work, like, friggin' till, like, 6 a.m. Like, I need to get some sleep. And like, no, I got some things to do, whatever. And I'm like, the client's, like, blowing him up and also blowing me up.
Oh, no.
So I had to go all the way to, where was I? I was in Brickell, and I had to go all the way to Fontainebleau.
Ugh.
Just to like maintain the relationship. I was just like,
yeah,
maybe I should be a broker, man. Fuck this.
Literally,
you know? No, I let the people, you know, just the professionals pretty much handle it.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, that's just all you just have to be professional. You know? I mean,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, these people are the ones who are putting, you know, food on your table. And you have to be grateful for the opportunity for them to even consider you as, you know, doing business with you. So, I mean, that's a difference between.
Before we wrap up, if you can please let us know, like, what your next endeavors are in the yachting industry. Like, what are you, other than, well, you just said it, honestly, you're becoming a person that you can pretty much to sell yachts. So that's great. Anything else?
To just eventually move to Italy.
Okay,
and,
nice.
Know, go over there in Monaco and and crush that industry.
Nice. Okay.
So
maybe
hopefully work for San Lorenzo
eventually.
Okay. That would be a dream.
Okay,
so,
good. Good. That's what's up. And then let's get all the shameless plugs out, you know, where we can find you, how we can get your service as well too. You know, the floor is yours.
All right. So it's Kaile Justine. Was my Instagram, or wait, should I say at Kaile Justine?
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
So at Kaile Justine is my Instagram, and then my business profile is Infinity Luxury Experience. Go ahead, follow me.
And I've worked with her on plenty of occasions, and she is wonderful. She's killing it in the industry as well too. And I'm happy for you. I really am. You know, from the time that I met you about 4 years ago, even though I still can't remember how I met you, but we'll figure that out. I've definitely seen like a progression and a transformation that, you know, you as a person, you as a yacht broker, and just like a businesswoman in the industry.
Thank you.
So
I'm so
congrats to
excited.
you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
No, absolutely, definitely. So until next time, appreciate you guys.